Hey everyone, Professor Leis here. In this video, I'd like to walk us through the course syllabus and explain the different policies and protocols for our class and hopefully address any questions that you might have about any of these policies. So we can access this document in the first week module under syllabus. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. All right, English 103, Critical and Argumentative Writing. So I like to include a couple of important statements at the top of my syllabus for all of my classes. One statement is by the writer Zadie Smith, and she says, "The very reason I write is so that I might not sleepwalk through my entire life." Now the reason I include this particular statement is because I think Zadie Smith characterizes writing in a very smart and important way by treating it not just a means of communication, which obviously writing is. It's a way of communicating with others and transmitting and recording information, but it's also something a little bit deeper than that. It helps us pay closer attention to our thoughts and the world around us. It helps us be more aware if we are using writing in this way, to be more observant and to help us think thoughts that are new to us. And really to keep us from just going through our lives in a sort of trance, so to speak, just kind of going through the motions, just kind of the day-to-day and not really being aware and conscious of how we're living our lives. So when we view writing in this way, it can really expand the significance of it and help us see writing as a broader way of understanding the world and what we think about the things that we encounter in this world. Another statement I like to include is from the astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he says, "The people who don't ask questions remain clueless throughout their lives." I think this statement is a really nice partner to the Zadie Smith statement, because part of writing is being able to ask questions of the things that we encounter, the different ideas that we encounter in our lives, the different events that we might go through or challenges we might face. But to ask questions means that we're probing more deeply, right? We're using writing and this idea of asking questions as a way to dig more deeply into the things that we encounter, right? So it's also a way of keeping us from sleepwalking through our lives. If we are not just accepting the things that we encounter at face value, but rather asking questions of those things. How and why? How do these things work? Why is this the case? All of those things help us think a little bit more deeply about our own thoughts and the world around us, right? Now, one major concept that we'll be focusing on in our course is this idea of rhetoric. And rhetoric is very much important, a very important ingredient to the idea of writing. And so we'll expand on that idea and that understanding, and we'll return to these ideas of using writing as a way of paying closer attention to the world around us. All right, well, let's get into the particulars here. So I am your instructor, Corey Leis. You all can call me Mr. Leis, Professor Leis, whichever you prefer. You can contact me through my Cerritos College email address, or you can message me on Canvas. Now, I prefer Canvas because I'm much more active on Canvas than I am on my Cerritos College email account. However, I do check it on a regular basis, so if you'd like to email me, that's fine. This semester, I'll be holding virtual office hours through Zoom on Tuesdays from 1 to 2 p.m. So on those days, between that time, you can tune in, and if you have any questions about any of the course readings or any of the projects that we're working on, or you just like to talk about your writing in general, that's a place where you can do that. So I'll be available on Tuesdays from 1 to 2 p.m. and then also by appointment. So if that time doesn't work and you'd like to meet with me through Zoom to talk about the course or your work in the course, we can go ahead and arrange a time to meet through Zoom. All right, so this is the course information here. So our section number is 24545. And of course, you know, when school starts August 16th and it ends December 17th, so an 18-week semester. Course meeting information. This course is taught entirely online in an asynchronous fashion, which means students do not need to meet or log into Canvas at a specific time during the week. Every Monday, a new module will be unlocked in Canvas, and it is the student's responsibility to complete the necessary readings, activities, and projects for each module posted deadlines. Deadlines will be every Wednesday and Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Optional synchronous meetings, virtual office hours will be held each week where students can interact with the professor and fellow classmates to ask questions and seek clarification on course material in real time. Students are encouraged to download the Canvas app to their mobile devices for added ease of communication. So each week we will have two predictable deadlines. One is Wednesday by 11:59 p.m. and the other is Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Those deadlines will not change, so they're predictable. You can count on them and you can arrange your schedules accordingly. So it's up to you as far as when you're going to actually complete the different activities, the different readings, the different projects throughout the week, just as long as they're completed by those two deadlines. Course materials. So we will need the course textbook, which is Everything's an Argument, the 8th edition. All of the publication information is included on our homepage for Canvas, as well as our first module for week 1. And you can also find it right here on the syllabus. So you can get it in print or electronic form. That's up to you. But we will need it by the second week of the semester, which is August 23rd. So make sure that you have the book by that deadline. You can't succeed in the course without the textbook, so it's important that you obtain that. An academic planner or calendar is highly recommended. Studies show that students who make regular use of academic planners or calendars tend to do better in college, not surprisingly because they're more organized, right? They're more on top of their different responsibilities. So I highly recommend that you get in the habit of using an academic planner or a calendar, whether that's an old school physical copy that you actually write in by hand or one that's on your computer or phone that you can just keep track of your different responsibilities throughout the week. You'll of course need regular access to a computer with reliable internet connection. Obviously this is an online course, so we need to have access to the internet, right? We need to have access to a computer in order to complete these different responsibilities for our course. And then I think the most important materials are an open mind, a positive attitude, and a willingness to learn. An open mind meaning that you're not just dismissing ideas when you encounter them, if there's something that runs counter to what you think or is maybe challenging, but to embrace those, to try to understand those things before coming to some kind of judgment. Positive attitude, that's just going to make your life and the lives of others around you much more pleasant if you have that positive outlook with college and with our course in particular. And then a willingness to learn, meaning you're actually willing to put in the effort necessary in order to learn from our course and your other courses. Course description. This course develops critical thinking, reading, and writing beyond the level achieved in English 100. The course focuses on the development of logical reasoning and analytical and argumentative writing skills. Student learning outcomes for English 103. So these are, by the time you complete the course, if you've completed the course successfully, these are the things that you will have done. So these are built into the course, the different activities that we'll be doing, the different projects that we'll be doing in our class. So we will employ the writing process to understand and complete the writing task. We'll employ critical thinking concepts to evaluate arguments. We'll employ critical thinking concepts to write coherent logical arguments. We'll demonstrate critical engagement with outside sources. Will write in prose style characterized by clarity, complexity, and variety, and will adhere to the conventions of standard written English, including MLA format. So all of these things are baked into the course. I've designed the class to accomplish these different outcomes. Course values and objectives. This course values the importance of reading and writing in our lives. It understands that for a person to be critically engaged with their community and the world at large, they should be able to read and write well. It understands that power is granted to those who possess knowledge and the ability to think critically, and that education is a viable and important avenue for a person to take in order to improve the conditions of their life. This course also values curiosity, the potential for learning presented by confusion and failure, and the importance of deep learning and understanding over simple memorization of facts and information in order to collect points for a grade. So these are the values and objectives that I've built into our class. They're not deemed by the college. Any class that you take with me specifically, I've designed it to also value these things and to aim for these objectives. Course communication. So these are the various ways that we will communicate with one another, or I will communicate with you, you'll communicate with classmates and me, etc. So announcements, I will post regular announcements, and those will be included on our Canvas site on the home page as well as in the announcements tab with important information, so just keep an eye out for those. Messages and email. I will also send out a lot of messages through Canvas throughout the semester, so it's important that you're checking your inbox on a regular basis in Canvas. So this feature right here. So in these messages, I'll provide information or heads up updates about our course and things for you to consider, and just to keep you updated with our class. So again, pay attention to those. Now, when you send me a message or an email, it's important that you take it seriously, because if you want me to take it seriously, you need to take it seriously, right? So whether it's a message on Canvas or an email, in either case, students should compose their messages or emails in such a way that reflects their rhetorical situation. So we'll talk about this idea, rhetorical situation, if that's a phrase that you've never heard before. We'll break that down. So you'll provide a clear subject, an appropriate greeting, so please greet me when you send me a message or an email, and a closing signature, so sign your message. So again, if you want your messages or emails to be taken seriously, then you too must compose them seriously. Discussion board, that's another way that we will interact with one another throughout the semester, so we'll have regular discussion boards, and those will be found in the weekly modules. So to ensure a certain level of participation and interaction among the members of our learning community, we will have weekly discussion boards where students will post in response to specific prompts. Students will also reply to at least 2 other colleagues in each discussion board. Each discussion board prompt contains specific instructions on how to compose your response. Virtual office hours, so I've mentioned this. This is another way that you can interact with me. So again, every Tuesday from 1 to 2, you can tune in through Zoom and we can talk about course content or any specific activities that you're working on or projects you're working on. Feedback and responses. I will be active on Canvas Monday through Thursday during our semester, which means I will check my emails, messages, and the various discussion boards regularly between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. If you send me a message, you can expect a reply within 24 to 48 hours unless it's a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, in which case you can expect a reply the following Monday. If a message or email is sent after 5 p.m., students should not expect a reply until the following morning. Feedback on projects and activities will be provided on an ongoing basis, but please allow more time for larger projects such as major essay projects. So essentially, if just Monday through Thursday between kind of standard business hours 9 to 5, you can expect a reply pretty quickly. But if it's after 5, don't expect a reply until the following morning. And if it's Friday through Sunday, it's a good chance that I won't reply or respond until the following Monday. So just don't count on a reply if it's the weekend or if it's after 5 on a weekday. So that means just plan ahead. So if you have a question that pertains to a particular project that's due, let's say Wednesday by 11:59 p.m., if you send me a message on Canvas at like 10 p.m. on Wednesday, I'm probably not going to see it until the next morning. So just plan ahead. Participation. Participation in an online course is just as important as it is in a face-to-face course. Even though our class is asynchronous, meaning that we don't have specific meeting times, it is important that each student maintains a consistent level of participation each week if they wish to succeed in the course. Students are expected to log into Canvas multiple times a week, at least once daily, Monday through Friday. They are expected to engage in our weekly discussion boards, composing their responses thoughtfully and thoroughly, and they are expected to complete projects and activities thoroughly and submit them on time. If students have not been logging into Canvas regularly, actively participating in our weekly discussion boards, or completing and submitting projects and activities on time, they may be dropped from the course for inadequate participation. So essentially, it's really important that you are staying connected with the class. So logging into Canvas on a frequent and regular basis is important to make sure that you're aware of various responsibilities in a given week, and making sure that you are indeed participating in the course. If you're not, so if you're not really logging into Canvas, if you're not submitting things, or maybe you're submitting things frequently late and we haven't talked about that, whatever the case might be, if it's clear that you're not participating in the course, then it's a good chance you'll be dropped from the course. So just keep that in mind. Conduct and behavior. Just as in a face-to-face classroom environment, students are expected to treat one another with dignity and respect. Because we are all members of the same learning community, we are expected to respect the opinions of our peers, even if we may disagree with them. Disrespectful behavior of any kind will not be tolerated. Remember, constructive criticism is different from rudeness. Our goal as a learning community is to cultivate a culture of success, meaning we are enthusiastic about our learning, engaged in our course material, and kind to one another. I think that's the most important thing, just being kind. The world could use a little more kindness. Students are also expected to behave with decorum in their online discussion posts and interactions with me and fellow students. Inappropriate language, images, and/or links to inappropriate content will not be tolerated. Please review this short document on netiquette, respectful and appropriate behavior for online courses. So this is basic stuff for any college course, basic conduct and behavior, what the expectations are. Really, it's important that we are treating one another with respect, with dignity, being kind to one another. Even if we may disagree with somebody's opinion, we're still respectful and acknowledge their right to hold that opinion. In your postings on the discussion boards and just various interactions, it's important that you are comporting yourself or behaving in such a way that represents or reflects the rhetorical situation you're in, right? We're in a college course, so it's important that you act like a college student. This right here, this link is to a web page on this concept called netiquette. So etiquette and net, I kind of combine that for that little clever term there. So it's, again, basic stuff about how to conduct yourself, how to comport yourself in an online course, how to be respectful and appropriate. I'm actually going to end this video right now and begin a new one and continue on with the syllabus. So hang tight. I'll see you on the next video.